Good morning, students. Our today's topic is formal and informal organization. Students, in our last topic, we learned about the two types of organization structure. One is functional and another is divisional. Now, today we will be learning about the two types of organization. One may be in the form of formal organization, another may be in the form of informal organization. What is formal and what is informal setup of organization? Let us understand. Formal organization means an organization which works according to clear defined relationships. That means each and every person who is working in the organization is working according to the officially defined roles he has to play, bound by the rules and regulations of an organization. And this type of organization, it is deliberately created to see that work is done in a proper manner in an organization. It may be in the form of functional or divisional. The structure may be in any form of the formal organization setup. But whenever there is a formal organization, in an organization, we see that the officially defined roles of each and every employee is there in the organization, and he cannot work beyond that officially defined roles. Whereas when we talk about informal organization, that type of organization which does not have definite or defined relationship, because those who are working in the organization, they work according to the personal relationships which they develop with each other. And this type of organization, it basically arises out of the social interactions and relationships which develops amongst the employees in an organization. So it doesn't have a definite structure. Like in case of formal organization, whether the structure may be in the form of functional or divisional organization structure. In formal organization, the relationships, out of the relationships, there is interaction amongst the people who are working in the organization. And that is why we say that there is no definite rules and regulations according to which the person interact. That means they act and interact beyond their officially defined roles. And in an organization, we have to understand one thing, that there is need for both formal and informal setup for the success of the organization. The organization has to work according to the rules and regulations, but also it should allow the employees working within the organization to interact beyond their officially defined roles, which takes the form of informal organization, because the relationships, out of the relationships which develops amongst them, they interact with each other, and that is also helpful to the organization in many ways to become successful. We will be taking an example. For example, Mr. X, he wants to start a business organization and he wants to start a travel agency. Now what he does is that if he wants to start the travel agency, that means there will be three areas in which he will have to work. One will be the air routes, another will be the rail routes, and third will be the road routes. So what he does is that in his organization, he makes 3 different departments and appoints personals in 3 different departments to work. So what he is doing, he is consciously and deliberately creating the departments to achieve the objective with which his organization is going to start, and that work is related with the travel work. That is why he has created 3 different divisions in the form of airways, in the form of roadways, in the form of railways, and different personals, they are appointed in 3 different departments. So this he has done, and once they are appointed in 3 different departments, each and every personnel will have his own duties and responsibilities to work upon, that will be assigned in the organization, and they will not interfere into each other's work. This is what is a part of formal setup. Now, for example, in the same organization, if Mr. X doesn't allow the people who are working in the organization, although they may be working in different divisions or departments, to interact beyond their officially defined roles, will they be happy? They will not be happy. Why? Because all of us are human beings, and we have some of our social and esteem needs also to be fulfilled. And those needs can only be fulfilled when we get the freedom to interact with each other irrespective of the roles we are playing in the organization. So, always in an organization, the organization can become successful if it has the flexibility in adapting both formal and informal setup in such a way that it helps in achievement of the organizational goals. Now, there are certain advantages, there are certain disadvantages which we are going to learn about both formal and informal organization, and that is why very cautiously this setup has to be utilized in the organization for the purpose of achieving the organizational goal. Because on one hand, there is need for certain rules and regulations, officially defined roles which should not be broken, but on the other hand, there should also be some flexibility given to the employees who are working to satisfy their, you may say, social and affiliation needs, so that they can work together like a team and solve the problems which arises in the organization, and thus help in making the organization successful. So we have seen many times in an organization, the manager working at the senior most position, he may be working at the top level position, and there may be an ordinary you may say worker working in the organization. Those two people, if they are working in the organization, they cannot be allowed to communicate with each other or talk to each other, because they are bound by the rules and regulations which doesn't allow them to interact, you may say, directly with each other, unless and until there is an opportunity provided to them within the organization where those rules and regulations doesn't bound them. So in an organization, many times we see there is events which takes place, there are some clubs which is created, and there is common canteen or mess, or you may say different types of activities which is being organized in the organization, where we see that informally even the person working at the top position and the ordinary worker can also interact in that informal in that event which takes place in the organization, and at times officially if they are not allowed to discuss many things because of their roles and responsibilities which they have in the organization, informally if they meet at certain places, they are able to discuss even the organizational problems, and thus it is also helpful for the organization sometimes. So there is need for both formal and informal organization setup to exist in each and every organization, so that the organization is able to solve its issues and problems which become a hurdle in the achievement of the organizational goals. So we'll be learning about both formal and informal organizations, its advantages, disadvantages and features one by one. First of all, we'll be talking about the features of formal organization. The first feature says it has defined relationships. Once it is a formal structure, automatically we see that clear-cut lines of authority and responsibility is defined in the organization. That means authority responsibility relationship means who is to report to whom. Second, it is based on rules and procedures. The formal organization always works according to officially defined rules and regulations, which each and every employee working in the organization from the topmost level to the bottom have to follow it without any deviation. Rules are to be strictly followed. Observance of rules is strict. It may be for the topmost level or it may be for the workers working in the organization. So we see that it is based on rules and procedures. Procedures also have a defined steps, and those steps have to be followed, and it is basically related to see that the work is properly carried out. Rules and regulations are formed to see that there is strict observance of the code of conduct in the organization, so that the work is carried out smoothly in the organization. It is deliberately created. Whatever work is assigned to the different individuals working in the organization at different places according to their ability and capability, we see that the work is assigned. The work is related, or you may say, you must see that whatever work is carried out, that is related with the position to which a person is working. If a person is working to a particular position, he will have to perform that work. So it is deliberately created and keeping in mind the goals which have to be achieved, so that the person who works at a particular position has to fulfill his duty and carry out the work smoothly towards the achievement of the goals. It is impersonal. Now we see whenever there is formal organization, no personal interaction develops, because the emphasis is totally on the work. It is not on developing human relationships. That is why the relationships, there may be father and son working in the organization at two different positions. Once he enters the organization and working in the formal setup, the father and the son will not be allowed to work there as father and son. If the father is working at the senior most position, he has his own duties and he has his own authority, whereas the son, if he is working at the lower level management position, he has his own work. So they cannot develop, they cannot you may say work according to the relationships which they personally have in the organization, because the emphasis is on work. It is not on the personal relationships, or you may say personal interactions which may occur between them. It is based on division of work. Whatever roles, responsibilities that is assigned to different individuals who are working at different places in a formal setup is according to the work which they have to carry out towards the achievement of the goal, and that is carried out in different divisions and departments to see that there is proper allocation of duties and responsibilities towards the organizational goal. role. Now, these are some of the features. We are moving on to the advantages. First point says it is easy to fix the responsibility, because each and every person knows what work he has to carry out, what is his duty. So once it is clear, there is clear-cut lines of duties and authorities, so it is easy to fix who has not accomplished the work. No overlapping of work, because work is divided into different divisions and departments. The division may be functional or it may be divisional, it may be carried out in different ways, but the duplication is not there, and that is why there is proper use of resources in the formal setup. Unity of command possible, because superior subordinate relationship is clear. Once the formal setup is there in the organization in the form of functional or divisional structure, we see that the superior subordinate relationship or authority responsibility relationship is clear, from where a person has to take orders, who will be his superiors, who will he to report after accomplishment of the work. So it is possible to maintain this unity of command, and if there is unity of command, automatically the advantage of unity of command leads to you may say successful achievement of the objective. There is no confusion, there is no misunderstanding, as a result of which work carries out smoothly in the organization. Easy to achieve goals, we have seen, because of the formal setup, work is carried out properly, the duties and responsibilities are well known to the people who are working at different places. As a result, we see that the goals can be achieved. Provides stability in the organization, because there is no confusion, there is no misunderstanding. Automatically we see that the people, they know that they are performing this work because the work is associated with the position, and this gives them satisfaction, and that satisfaction helps them to maintain that stability in the organization. Now, disadvantages of formal organization. It's not only advantageous but also disadvantages. First is delay in work, because the work has to be carried out according to the rules and regulations, the procedures have to be followed. So sometimes we see that because of so many procedural you may say procedures, because of the routine procedure which has to be followed, it leads to delay in work, and some of the works requires immediate attention and quick decision making, which cannot be followed in case of formal setup. Lack of initiative, because the employees who are working in the organization, they know that they cannot act beyond their officially defined roles. They have to work within the strict observance of the rules and regulations under strict discipline. So at times, if there is creativity in them, that also gets suppressed, because there is no place for such initiatives or for such suggestions if they have in the eyes of the organization because of this formal setup. Mechanization of relationships. No personal relationship can be developed. Always the official relationship in case of formal organization is there in the organization. So it is just like a mechanical relationship. It is not personal relationship which can be formed because of the formal setup. Now we are moving on to the informal, where we see that the rules and regulations, the procedures, it doesn't bound the employees who are working in the organization. They can work, they can act, they can interact beyond their officially defined roles, which the formal organization suggests. So what are the features of informal organization? It is based on formal organization. First of all, in an organization, Because of the formal organization, we see that the employees, they work at different positions, and once they work at different positions, they get the chance of social interaction in different places. It may be in a seminar, or it may be in an event, or it may be at some other place, where we see that this social interaction, it takes the form of informal meetings, and that leads to the informal organization, formation of informal organization. It has no written rules and procedures. Whenever there is informal setup, we see that people beyond their officially defined roles, they interact with each other and they come closer because they have some common interests which lead them to have personal rapport or relationship, or maintain that personal relationship. For example, if it is a dramatics club which is run in an organization, and in that dramatics club, a person of top level management and a normal worker may join that club, and once he joins that club, automatically we will see that there no formal rules and regulations will be there to be a participant in that club. Both of them can interact freely, they can talk to each other, and in this way we see, because they have common interest, that has brought them closer together, and this is a type of social interaction and this provides them satisfaction. So it happens. It is not deliberately created, spontaneously it comes out because of some personal interactions and interests which develops, and this leads to spontaneous creation. It is personal. We see that informal organization develops because of personal interactions. It doesn't develop because of work related relationship. It has no place in the organization chart. The organization chart only portrays the formal organization, the relationship which exists between employers and employees, superiors and subordinates, that is defined in the organization chart. Here, this type of relationship which may develop between a top level management personnel and a worker will not be projected in the organization chart. So in this way we see that these are some of the features, and these features provide some advantages also to the organization. First, effective communication, because the communication flows quickly, so there is no foundation to follow the rules and regulations and procedures, as a result of which this communication is more effective at times in the organization, and it is also helpful in solving so many problems which officially it may be possible that because of the foundation of the rules and regulations, we see that the initiative which is there in the employees to resolve the issues cannot take place, but unofficially they may come out with valuable suggestions at times, and that may be useful for the organization, and in this way it comes out to be effective. Fulfills social needs, we have learned, because of the common interests which the personnels working at different positions in the organization bring them together. It creates a sense of belongingness, it fulfills their affiliation and social needs, and in this way that brings lot of, you may say, benefits to the organization. Once the like-minded people, they interact with each other, they not only discuss about their group related personal issues, but also sometimes they are able to resolve the critical organizational problems as well. So it is helpful. Fulfills organizational objectives. So we have learned that because of that informal relationship which develops, sometimes a normal worker can also give valuable suggestions which may be very beneficial for the organization, and in this way we see that some of the very important issues and problems related with the organization also gets resolved because of this informal interaction. Disadvantages are there. It creates rumor when the communication takes place informally. There cannot be control over what is being spread, and sometimes wrong information also gets spread very fast, and it may be harmful for the organization. So it becomes the first limitation. It resists changes, those changes sometimes which may lead to the growth of the organization. If the informal group is so strong in the organization, it may not allow its group members who are following the group norms to adapt to those changes, and they resist it, which may prove to be harmful for the organization. Pressure of group norms, which hinders the organizational interest sometimes. If the group is very strong in the organization, then they may impact the working of the organization. So what do we find? We see that both formal and informal organization has its own merits and demerits. For an organization to be successful, it has to make use of both formal and informal setup. If it is able to do so, automatically we will see that the problems which arises in the organization will be solved with the coordinated efforts of all its employees working at different positions in the organization, and this may lead to achievement of the organizational goals successfully. With this, we have completed this topic, and next we will be talking about delegation of authority. That will be our next heading. Till then, thank you all of you. Take care.